Hello, I'm back. I am here with another story to tell you. This one actually comes from me and something that I have experienced in this last week and up to today. So, where do I even start? Well, I can tell you that I probably look like I'm a person who has all my shit together and I have it all figured out and I know what I'm doing, right? Nope, I don't. I don't have it figured out. And, I'm not putting on any facade or any kind of front or I'm not being fake. It's just things that I just don't share with people. And I don't share these things often or at all because I feel embarrassed. It's embarrassing and you feel shameful and you feel guilty and you don't feel very good about yourself when you put yourself in certain situations. So, a pattern has been reoccurring in my life for quite some time now, for about 4 years actually. And it really all started when I sold my house in 2018. It was a house that I got with my daughter's dad, and he lived there for about 3.5 years. Out of the 9.5 years that I lived there, he was there for about 3.5. And I kept the house because I had a place to live. It was my house and, I helped put it together and fix it up and do all of these things. And it was my home. I was on the mortgage and his parents were co-signers and he never got put on it. But that's not the point here. That's not the point at all. But anyway, I stayed in that house for a long time. And in that process, I really worked on my healing. I was not in a good place with myself. I was not in a good place with my family or my friends. I didn't know where I was going or who I was becoming or who I wanted to be. I just didn't know what to do. Prior to having my daughter, I felt like I had a plan. I had a good plan for my life and I was on track for that. And then I met her dad, and 5 months into that, I got pregnant. So the universe wanted to gift me with a child, with someone. And so I did that. I did it. I went through with it. I stayed in the relationship for 5.5 years. A lot of shit went down and we got this house, and it was like I did everything backwards. I got the kid, was playing the married life, had the house, but I wasn't happy. And so in 2018, I sold it because I wanted a fresh start. I wanted to put the past behind me. And I felt that in order for me to really disconnect from my daughter's dad and completely be free of that was to let go of the house. Because it was a constant reminder of what didn't work out, what didn't serve me. And so I felt the best thing for me at the time was to sell the house. And honestly, I was a single mother. All of my money went to taking care of that house and paying the bills for the house. And really all of my life with that house was about keeping it and paying the bills for it. And that was my life. And the income that I had at the time was enough to keep the house. I didn't really have any other goals or dreams of course I had dreams, but I didn't believe that I could attain them because I was taking care of this house and all of my money went to the house. And if there was anything left over, maybe I can go have fun. Maybe I can go buy alcohol, but yeah, there wasn't a lot left at the end of it. So anyway, I sold it in 2018, and ever since then, my income has been fluctuating. Ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. I refuse to get a full-time job because I've been laid off by 4 of them, probably within, well, prior to the last 4 years, 3 years. I mean, I gotten laid off like by 4 of them. And so for me, a full-time job isn't stable. It's limiting. It's very limiting for me. And I'm an entrepreneur at heart. That's what I am, and that's what I want to be. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working on. And so the pattern that has been going on and on and on in this time is not making enough money to pay for my rent, to pay for my car payment, to pay for car insurance. I mean, I go shop at a food bank twice a month. And then if I have enough money, I can go buy $50 worth of stuff at the grocery store, which you get like 10 things for $50. I mean, really, everything is so expensive and just so expensive that for someone who I feel like I'm just barely making it. And it's true. It's true. And that's okay, because it's really all a learning lesson. So it's all a learning experience. You got to go through these things to learn from them, to get yourself out, right? Because if you stay in it, you'll just keep repeating the cycle over and over and over again. And that's what I've been doing. But I feel like today has been a breakthrough. And it all started last week. My rent was due last week. So, every other month it seems I can get the rent paid, or I need to borrow money, or I need to borrow money from my mom, especially. Okay. And so I'll tell you a little bit about that in just a moment. So my rent was due my rent's due on the 15th. I got to pick the 1st or the 15th, and the 15th worked the best for me. So I didn't have it. A job that I was working, or some contract work that I was working, had switched gears, and that left some of the income out. That dropped some of that. And all because I refused to get a full-time job, or just get a job in general, is some of the dilemma, some of the predicaments that I find myself in. And being a business owner, or at least trying to be a business owner, and trying to drum things up and doing the best that I can to put myself out there, which that has been a work in progress with all the healing that I've been doing. More of the healing that I'm doing is opening up more space for me to feel more confident, to continue to be seen, to continue to be putting myself out there, to continue coming here and giving you a video on my life, giving you an experience, sharing a story with you of something that I go through. It has been like every month for the last couple of years. Some days, sometimes are really great because I'll have a steady job, and I'm working them. But then when I do other people's jobs, I don't do my work. I don't work on my business. I neglect my business. And so I am really at the point where it's like, I just want to create my own work. I want to create my own work. And the predicament that I'm in, I put myself there, and not intentionally, but I put myself there. It's my responsibility that I continue to be in this cycle, in this inconsistency of income, or resisting maybe the need to get a part-time job or something that is steady and still put the time into my business. Okay. And so it's looking at it from a different perspective, looking at it in a different way. So all last week, I was doing my best to take the inspired action to be visible, to get my organizing business out. It's QD transformations. I'm transforming on so many different levels, mind, body, soul, and your home. So that's one aspect of QD transformations that I'm advertising, because a lot of people need it. And that's what I'm really good at right now. And I have so much skills in it. And then those other parts of transformation that I work in will come with that. So, but organizing is the place to start. Anyway, I took inspired action. I created a flyer. I went to a few senior living communities and spoke with some salespeople and gave them my flyer to be a resource for them and their clients when they're having new people come through and need decluttering or downsizing help. And doing posts, like scheduling out my posts for the week. So, I'm doing all this work. I had a few jobs on the weekend, that were going to bring some money in, but I wouldn't get paid for those until the following week or in 2 weeks. Okay. So, in last week, I told my landlord a fib basically, and bought me some time to get the rent. Okay. So all last week, I'm trusting and I'm having faith that the things are going to work out. I'm going to get my rent money. It's going to come in divine timing, and I'm going to continue taking the inspired action. I'm going to continue to make my list and do those daily tasks every day and get what I can accomplish with what I have, and be open to the opportunities that will come. And so a Quinn a year ago would have been freaked out, totally freaked out, like stressed, panicked, worried, everything, like on edge, just unhappy because, I don't have my rent money and I don't know where it's coming from. So it's uncertainty and it's confusion and it's so much stuff that's causing me discomfort. It's causing me to beat up on myself. It's causing me to not feel good, feel depressed. And so this Quinn here is not in that place. Thankfully, because I've done so much healing, like I'm trusting and believing that my rent is going to come on time. Okay. And in the back of my mind, was always the thought, well, you can always ask your mom. And if she says no, what's the worst thing that could happen? She can say no and you'd be right in the same place, right? So I had that in my mind and I was like, well, I don't want to ask my mom. I've already asked her for enough. Like, she's been supporting me for like 2 or 3 years, helping me with rent every other month, helping me with my car payment, having me on her insurance, like paying for car insurance. This woman is helping me so much, and I'm not being the responsible adult that I can be to not rely on my mom for those things. But I am grateful that she has the ability to do that. And she's the only person who I can call or even ask or even trust to ask for this kind of help, for this kind of assistance. My mom's been taking care of me my whole life, and she's been doing all of this stuff for me, financially in so many big ways. And I feel selfish. Like, I feel that it's unfair that she should not have to give me her money, or give me her savings and be tapped out because I can't take care of myself, because I can't put my big girl panties on and go get a fucking job, do what I need to do to fucking make it on my own without having to rely and depend on my mom to help me. Like, seriously, this is the beating up. This is the critic. This is the criticizing of myself for the actions or maybe lack of action that I've taken to make sure that my bills are paid, to make sure that my lifestyle is taken care of. It's not my mom's responsibility to be paying for that. Okay? It's not. And I feel horrible that that has happened, that I've allowed that to happen, and that she's allowed that to happen. So last night, it's a Sunday, and I'm thinking all day, oh, you better text your mom. You better text. I'm like, no, I'll do it after dinner. I'll do this because I didn't want to. I didn't want to text her. I didn't want the money to come from her. But what I've learned in my mastermind, my prosperity mastermind class that I'm in, it taught me to trust and believe and have faith that no matter where it's coming from, that's what's for my highest good. That I got that, like it happened. Okay. So I text her last night and I'm like, hey, how are you? How are things? You know, I hate asking this, but can you help me with my rent? You know, I have all of these different jobs that are in the pipeline this week, you know, all of these things that are happening this week. And I need to get my rent by Tuesday. You know, by Tuesday, I need to get my rent in because that's going to be 11 days. 11 days that it hasn't been due. And so I send the text message and I'm like, all right, it's done. It's done. I sent it. It's done. And the worst that can happen is she can say no. You know, that's all she could, like, she could just say no and I'll be in the same spot. Or she can say yes and I'll be happy. And it'll be great, right? So I do a peaceful full moon meditation and I go to bed in peace. I sleep peacefully. And I wake up in the morning and there's no messages, and so I can carry on with my day. And in the back of my mind, I'm just like, how am I going to get this rent money? I need to get it by Tuesday, because it's like if I had gotten a check on Sunday, it wouldn't clear till Tuesday, right? So I have all of these things going on in my mind. And it's like all of these things are going on, but like they're all out here and I'm back here observing this in a calm, peaceful state. And I'm not feeling worried. I'm not feeling stressed at this moment, okay? And I was like, well, it's going to happen in divine timing. It's going to happen in divine timing, all right? And so then I get a text message from her and she says that she doesn't have it. She can't do it. That I need to get a steady job to pay for my life. That I need to get a steady job and she can't do it. So I was like, okay, well, she said no. And so I accepted that. I accepted that she said no. And so I'm like, all right, well, then I need to figure out how I'm going to get this in the next 2 days, because I'm not trying to get evicted. I've never been evicted in my life, and I'm not even about to try and do that now. You know, so I'm going to do whatever it is necessary to make this rent, you know, get this money. So at a job that I was at over the weekend, I got this Gig Smart app where there's different gigs, that different shifts you can go and apply for different things that you're interested in or have skills in or whatever to do. So as I'm making my coffee, my mushroom coffee, and I'm looking at this, at the gig work and setting up the profile, it just so happened that I had signed up in July of 2022. So 2 years ago, I signed up for that gig work and never did it. So I was like, oh, well, that's interesting, because I was like, this sounds familiar. I feel like I've signed up for this. And sure enough, I had an account. Anyway, so I'm looking at this, and then all of a sudden I get a Cash App payment from my mom for $155. And I'm like, what? Like, why did she send $155? Like, what? Why? Like, why did you do that? And then shortly after, there was a $1,400 or $1,485 or 14 something, $1,455. So it was like a total of $1,825 or something. No, not 18. $1,585. And I was like, what? Like, why did she send this? Like, she said no. She said she didn't have it. So why did she send it? I was so confused. I was like, But I had already accepted that she said that she couldn't do it. And so I was like, okay, well, now I got to do whatever I need to do to make sure I can get this happen or make this happen, you know? So I was confused, but I was also grateful at the same time. I was just like so stunned and confused. I was stunned and confused because it was like she said she didn't have it and then she sent it and now I have the rent. I mean, it's $45 short, but I'll have that tomorrow. So I was like, why did you send that? Like, I messaged her and asked her what, I thought she didn't have it and what changed her mind. And she said she got a cash advance from a credit card. And I'm like, what the fuck? Seriously, like, I'm more upset with myself because I've relied on my mom for so fucking long that she's depleted her savings for me, to me, has taken cash advances and loans out to contribute and pay for my life. Like, I didn't know what to do, be happy or mad or ashamed or guilty that I did this to my mom. Like, we're doing this to each other. And it was almost like, what is, there's a deeper message here. Like, it almost feels enabling. It feels like it's enabling. Like, she's enabling me. Or there's some guilt or some obligation or something that she feels towards me to say no, but then send the money anyway. Like, I'm kind of like, how am I going to learn if you keep giving me the money? Like, I accepted that she said no, and it was like, but this is where the learning is. This is where the lesson is. This is where I get to see a different perspective. Even though my mom was like, no, I didn't have it. I got tapped out. Like, I'm tapped out, Quinn. Like, please don't ask again. Like, please don't ask again. Please don't ask again for money from me. And honestly, I don't ever want to ask my mom for money ever again. Like, I want to start a mom fund that I could put money into every month and send her money every month. Because, you know, over the course of my life, she's given me so much money. So much money. And I just want to pay her back. I just want to pay her back for all that she's done for me. And I'm so grateful that she has the ability to do that, because if she didn't, I wouldn't ask. I mean, she still works a lot to make her money and pay her bills and pay for her life and do the things that she wants to do. And she doesn't need to be over here giving me her fucking savings and taking cash advances on credit cards just to help me with my fucking rent, because I'm not doing it. Because I'm refusing to get a job? Because I'm not being responsible for my life? Well, I can tell you that stopped today. That pattern that has been happening for years is stopping today. It's ending today. And I share this with you because I don't have all my shit together. I'm doing as best as I can to get myself out of the scarcity mindset, to get myself out of lack, to get myself into a more abundance and prosperous and wealthy life. And it's up to me to create that in my life. It's up to me to say no more to resisting the need to take care of myself and my family and my daughter and my dog. It's up to me to create the life that I desire. And if I desire to be wealthy, I have to create that. It's creating from me. And the universe is there supporting me every step of the way. And because I trusted that it was going to come through, it did. It happened in divine timing. I accepted the fact that my mom said no, and I was right there already like, okay, what jobs can I work this week? What can I do this week? Who could I talk to this week to see about some organizing, to see about these gig jobs, to see about other opportunities that can pay me to do things. And no more relying on my mom. Like, my mom doesn't need to be paying for her 41-year-old daughter. Like, come on, Quinn. It's like, get with it. But honestly, I'll tell you the truth. I've given up a lot. And it hasn't been until maybe the beginning of this year that I'm like, not anymore. I'm not giving up on myself anymore, or my dreams, because they are important to me. And I believe in myself. And I know that I can do it because I have everything within me. And I have all the support and resources and tools that I need to make those dreams a reality. So I just want to tell you, if you're taking advantage, I'll tell you, I was taking advantage of my mom. And there's a lot of people who are out there taking advantage of somebody. It's time to stop taking advantage of somebody else and start working on you. Start seeing what you're doing and where you're not being responsible in your life. Because we have to be responsible for our lives. We can't blame anybody else or depend on anybody else to give us the life, the happiness, the peace, the love that we desire, that we deserve. I'm grateful that my rent's paid. A message is being sent out to my landlord saying, hey, I'll get that paid by Wednesday when it clears. There's a lot of unpacking with what just happened today. And it's interesting because I drew a card from my Lightworkers deck. And last week I had gotten the card, the Ray of Wisdom. And it's about trusting and believing in yourself and having confidence to go after what you want and trust that the universe is going to provide to you everything that you need for your highest good. And trusting and believing in the timing and the process. Because I'll tell you, this morning, I was on the toilet being like, well, it's your fault, Quinn. You got yourself here. You did this to yourself. If there's anyone to blame, you blame yourself because you got yourself here. This is your fault. You fucked up. It's time for you to take responsibility for your life and stop depending on your mom. That was a conversation on the toilet. And the lesson, what is the lesson here? The lesson is here. Oh my gosh, what is the lesson? The lesson is to look at where you are not being responsible for yourself. Look at where your life is and where you're unhappy and start taking responsibility. I wrote a list of things down of all the tasks that I can do for this whole week. If I do 5 tasks a day, I can get that whole list done by trusting and believing in myself and having the confidence and being like, I'm not going to rely on anybody. I'm going to depend on myself, because at the end of the day, that's all I have. That's all of who I have to depend on is myself. I should not have to depend on my mom. I should not have to look to her for doing that. Is it great that she can? Yes. Am I grateful? Yes. But it's become excessive. And it's become enabling. And I'm sure it's caused some kind of discomfort in our relationship. So I share this story with you because this is something that I've gone through many times. And the cycle is ending. The cycle ends today. And thankfully, with this full moon in Capricorn, I have a rising moon sign. I mean, Capricorn moon sign. This is not me looking to get sympathy or to feel sorry for or to be judged. I mean, you can judge me all you want, but that's not going to matter to me, you know. But this is just me sharing something with you that I experienced today that really gave me a deeper look at what was really happening and what was really going on underneath the surface. And I fucked up. I wasn't responsible. But I can be. And I can get back on track. And with the help of my mom, that is helping me. And she is going to get payments every month. Every month. And I'm going to tell her, don't even ask what these are for. Don't ask where they come from. Just say thank you. So thank you, Mom. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for always being there for me on so many levels. Mainly financially. I'm grateful for your contribution to my life. It has served me well. And I just know that you'll get yours in return. With that being said, I'm grateful. I'm grateful my rent is going to get paid. But then there's going to be next month. And then the next month after that. So it's me taking responsibility of my life and doing whatever is necessary to make sure that I take care of myself and my family and my lifestyle. So if you don't see me doing that, if you see me slacking off and taking advantage or not doing my work, give me a soft kick in the butt. Give me some words of encouragement or something to push me to continue striving towards that life of freedom, that life of love and joy and happiness that I'm striving for, that I'm living and want to continue to live. So please, keep me accountable for myself. Keep me accountable for building a business. Keep me accountable for be doing better than yesterday. And thank you. Thank you for your accountability. And if you need help with that accountability, we can do this together. 2's better than 1, 3's better than 2, 4's better than 3, and on and on and on. So the more that we keep each other accountable, the more that we pick each other up when we've fallen down, the more that we could support each other in supporting ourselves, the better we will be, the more we will receive, and the happiness we will enjoy. So thank you for watching this story. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them. Otherwise, give it a thumbs up. Thank you. I love you.